In times like this, not that I can name another time like this, it feels impossible to maintain any sense of hopefulness or feelings of hope about the future. Not only is it a challenge to imagine any future in a world where things are constantly changing, but it's especially tough to think, let alone expect, a future in which things are actually somewhat positive. But, as uncomfortable as it may feel, pushing ourselves to imagine that better future may be an extremely important way for us to maintain some appearance of mental well-being now and whenever that beautiful future does arrive. What actually is this hope you speak of? In general, having hope is having an expectation that something good will happen in the future or that something bad won't happen, according to the American Psychological Association, APA. You can think about hope in different ways. You can feel it as a feeling of love, hate, guilt, etc., or use it as one way to give a reason to do something, yourself to action, or as part of a way of dealing with stress that gets you through loss. The benefits of being hopeful. If it's really hard to feel hopeful right now, start by just admitting, recognizing, responding to that. Yes, learning how to be hopeful is nice and helpful. But what about right now when everything feels like it's crashing down around us? Some people are just naturally positive thinking even in a situation like this. But, generally, toughness is something that's learned first through our experiences and then later as we go through the unavoidable challenges of life, Tedeschi says. Try to keep some appearance of a self-care. Helping grow hope starts with being able to really identify how you're feeling in a particular moment, identifying how you would rather be feeling, and building or drawing on the tools in your life to help you feel that way. That might start with individual activities or self-care practices, but will and should involve participating in real, healthy relationships also. Learn to identify and possibly reframe negative thought patterns. If you try to be hopeful and find that it's just very hard right now, throw questions at and try to reframe those negative thought patterns. For instance, as mind Dr. Todd Dubose, not very long ago, wrote for the APA, we are reframing the hopeful refrain "it's going to be alright" as being more about no matter what, we are in this together rather than look at the bright side. Remember that you can still control some things in your life. Being hopeful relies partly on having a sense of control. It's the idea that you can use an influence on the world around you, and that the actions you take can have positive results in your life. But, obviously, there are some situations that are really and truly out of your control, like losing a loved one or, say, living through a worldwide widespread disease. Lean into honest, real connections. It's really hard to become more hopeful if you don't have the space to admit, recognize, respond to that you're having a hard time with that right now. Thank you for choosing our channel to watch. Do not forget, believe in yourself.